Welcome back to the second part of continuous delivery and continuous deployment episode, where we will focus on the greenfield applications, so how to achieve this continuous deployments in greenfield apps and which tools to use to achieve it in both cases, legacy and greenfield applications. So for those who haven't yet watched the first episode, I invite you to watch it first, because there I describe what is the continuous deployment, what is the continuous delivery, what are the differences between them, what potential problems do you have in legacy application, and how you can tackle this improvement over the time in the legacy application. If you start with the greenfield project, it will be probably one of two scenarios. Either you are working for the company that already has its own products and they want to build something new, or you will just join some kind of startup and you will want to build company based on the product. In the greenfield applications, the key to success is to just go for what you want as a team. Even if someone tells you that, hey, it's impossible because we just made these applications, previous applications, this and that way, and we need to follow this way. No, you have to show that it's possible to do that. So you can just create quick proof of concept if you are working in the company that is already having products, or just try to convince as soon as possible the startup owners, founders that, hey, we can go directly to this continuous deployments here because this and that, and just take some kind of the topic to convince the people that you feel the best in as a team. So it can be, for example, canary releases. So show everyone else how it can work with this canary releases, prepare this proof of concept for canary releases, and try to convince the people. And the rest will be very similar as in legacy apps, but here you will be creating the culture of your work. So if you will just follow the way how it used to be before, then just don't say in 2 years that, hey guys, what a crap, we didn't want to work that way. You just selected this model and now you need to take consequences. So that's why it is important to start as soon as possible. Here, there will be no smoke tests like in legacy app from the perspective of applying it to the ready product, because this product is not existing. So all these tests will be a part of vertical slices that you will be creating. You won't have the shortening of the release cycles because you are following it from the beginning to at least continuous delivery, to at least have such a process that someone has to approve it by clicking the button, but that's it. You don't want to plan it with the 3 weeks of testing cycle or so. It is really important that you just navigate yourself to continuous delivery. And this means at any point in time, you are able to release something. If someone asks you, hey, how long will it take to release the today's version of the application, you say 1 minute. You just need to click the button, that's it. And of course, things like short-living branches, canary releases or blue-green deployments. And then after getting trust with this continuous delivery, you will be able to follow with continuous deployment, because that's very important. It's not always clear that the business will accept the continuous deployment from the beginning if there is no trust. So they did not yet get this trust. And if you have it, then you can omit this continuous delivery and go with continuous deployments. Okay, we talked about all these topics, about continuous deployments, delivery, in theory, how it can work, how you can try to handle it in legacy and greenfield applications. So the most interesting part will come right now, and it's about tooling, how you can achieve it in practice. I am telling you that from my experience. So I worked with the application, commercial ones, which were released with the continuous deployment process. So I will quickly go through it and tell you how you can do that with which tools. First question that you need to answer yourself is if you want to be cloud agnostic or you just want to go with some cloud. If you want to go with some cloud, so you decide for Azure or AWS or GCP, then all these clouds have the built-in services, the built-in products that will help you to achieve this continuous deployments. So there is no need to use anything from the outside. And that's fine, that's something that you can do, but it's not that interesting. So the interesting part comes when you have to be cloud agnostic. So if you would like to be cloud agnostic, you need to use some tooling from the outside. What can it be? So first of all, you can imagine that something needs to observe your main branch. So after you make changes into the main branch, after you merge your code there, then something has to see that you did it. And for that, you can use, for example, Argo CD, the tool which will help you to just observe the repo and then based on that change, deploy the application to production. So if you are building some backend services, it will be a great thing to just take a look at it because it will observe the repo and then it will deploy the services to the production. Second thing, when you are building the backend services, backend APIs, is that it would be great to not to have everything on your development machine. So the more automated this process is, the better it is for your application. What you can think about is that you might have the Kubernetes cluster in which you will have the namespaces for each developers, and now each developer will be deploying his local version, so the development version, to his own environment, to the cloud. And to do that, you can use tools like Garden.io that will allow you to deploy it there, or you can use telepresence. This is the choice of yourself and of your team, of course. So Garden.io, telepresence will work perfectly fine here. How could it look like from the development process? Imagine you have a developer. This developer has only IDE on his environment, nothing else, no SQL, no message queues, nothing at all. Everything is in this Kubernetes cluster of his own. And he then codes, he uses this Garden.io or telepresence to deploy to Kubernetes, and then he creates a pull request. And now from this pull request, the new pull request environment, so your preview environment is created, on which you have the automatic tests that are run. After you are done with pull request, then you are merging things to the main repo. Then Argo CD watches this main repository and deploys the thing to the Kubernetes. And of course, on the environment that was deployed, you are rerunning these automatic tests. Here you can have these canary releases that are deployed and the tests are ran against this canary release, and then the traffic is pushed like with increased percentage to this canary release candidate environment. So this is how it could look like from the backend perspective. And from the frontend perspective, it can be similar to that. It can be as well different. One cool example of the integration, how you can really quickly achieve continuous deployments, is by using Vercel. And Vercel allows you to just easily integrate your Git repository into the deployment pipeline. So you can even just, for example, if you have a code in GitHub, you can even say in Vercel, hey, this is my GitHub repo. Whenever something changes there, just deploy a new version of the application. And then you have it in preview environment or production environment, and that's it. You can as well do something a bit different. So if you are working with GitHub, you can configure your GitHub actions, and these GitHub actions will monitor the changes into your main repository. And of course, after building, linting, running unit tests, it will create a preview environment for you in Vercel. So you are configuring it still with GitHub actions. And now when this environment is created and ready, you are able to run your end-to-end tests using Playwright, using Cypress or whatever else on this preview environment. And then when everything is fine, you can deploy it to the production, and that the production in Vercel, of course. And that's it. It's so simple. It's very easy. So connecting your GitHub repository to Vercel is like 5 minutes of work, and you have this continuous deployment. Whenever something is pushed to your main, it just deploys to the Vercel, and that's it. If you do that with GitHub Actions, it will take you a couple of hours to configure all the stuff, and it will be as well easily automated. So this is some kind of alternative which you can use for front-end applications. Let me know in comments if you have any questions, so I can help you, I can answer it. If you have some kind of the current setup, you can as well write about it, and we can think together how it can be automated for the continuous deployments or just in the direction of it, so to shorten the release cycle, because I understand that you might be tired of just doing all these things by yourself, so clicking manually and so on in your application. Thanks for watching today's episode, and hear you on the next Friday.